Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and the other day when I was going through some of my brass bindings, I found this beautiful moon. Well, it's an upside down crescent moon with flowers. When I went and painted the flowers, the other side is not painted since it's a one-sided piece, but what I have decided to do with this is make it into a sun catcher. So let's turn down and I'll show you what I've got planned. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 bead drops on here, and at the bottom of the one we're going to put this beautiful prismatic crystal. It's going to go, let's see, we want it probably, get these India glass beads out of my way. Probably at least that far, and then we're going to take one of these Pegasuses and put it on either side. They're relatively heavy, so they should hold the bead strand down good, but I don't want them banging into the crystal, so they're going to be up higher, sort of like this. So then we'll just hang them from here, here, and here, and like I say, we're going to have just various bead strands. Now, these are silver, and you can see they're tarnishing in here. They're not sterling silver, they're just and then I've got some wire guardians. Now, I usually don't use wire guardians, but this is sharp, so unless I were to use jump rings onto here, we are going to use wire guardians just to protect our bead strands. Now, like I say, I don't normally use wire guardians. I know it sounds bizarre, but the one time I had a wire break, it was right at the edge of the wire guardian, like right here. And I know these are supposed to protect the wire, but obviously it didn't do a really good job that time. So what we're going to do, like I say, is we're going to make 3 bead strands, and I'm just going to use whatever I feel like it. I'm just going to dump some stuff out here of my various odds and end India glass. I want some of my brighter colors, so we'll just, I do have brown here, but I'm thinking we're going to go with probably some green. These are some pretty big pieces, so I'll probably only want maybe 1 for each strand. Then I've got some variegated blue and green, some blue, this is just all kinds of colors. And I probably won't use very many of these because they're small, they're either really big or really small. I have this one white one. It's going to go in the crystals strand. And then we'll have some blues and greens here. So what we want to do is we're going to need to get some crimp beads. And then we're going to just start stringing these babies up. Isn't this gorgeous? You can see that it's throwing at least light even on my hand here. So anyway, so we're going to get some wire out, and we'll need some crimp tubes as well, but we're just going to decide about how long we want this to be, and then we'll cut that much wire off, and then we'll go right through the hole here of our crystal. Just didn't want that in my way, and we'll crimp it like so. Now you could use a bail here if you wanted to. I just figure I don't really need it. I've got the wire right there, so. So that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to have some gold spacers. Though we could use silver too, because we do have silver. The Pegasus is here. Maybe we'll use a combo of both, and that would be fun. So let's find some crimp tubes, and we'll be right back. So we have both silver and gold. I also have some black, but I don't need that. So just maybe we'll just put silver in the Pegasus one and gold in the one here. But I need, come on, just one right now so I can get the bar on. That one won't be for some time, so I'm not worried about it. So let's get our crystal on here. If you're wondering what's wrong with Rory, my kitty that's yelling over there, there's nothing wrong with him really. He just wants Finnegan to play with him, and Finnegan's napping, so he feels that Finnegan should stop napping and come play with him. Sorry for bumping the camera there. So we're going to crimp this onto here. As you can see, I gave it a bit of room to move on the wire there. Now, I obviously can't work on the wire because I don't know how long, how we're going to do that. It would, because we're going to have the beads in there. So we're going to want to be about, I probably want it about yay long. So we'll cut another couple inches beyond that. We'll put the wire aside for a little while, and we'll decide on what beads we want to put on. So like I said, I definitely want this white one on here, though I may put it in more of the middle rather than the outside down the times. So maybe we'll start with one of these small blue ones here. Well, if I can get the package open. These packages seal nice and tight. There we go. Ouch. I'll just grab one of these. Isn't that pretty? Now this India glass you can see is right there at my, right there, but it's not going over, so we'll leave it there. And I knew they were here. Find my gold spacers here. And what I've sort of decided to do is do a 3 spacer combo, and on this row we're going to do gold, silver, gold, and on the 2 with the Pegasus we'll do silver, gold, silver. So there we go. So now we have to decide what color bead we want to have next. And do we want a larger bead or a smaller bead? Maybe we'll put one of these light green ones on first. Maybe this guy. Now, in case you're wondering, I get most of my beads such as these from Randy Brown. She gets them at the Taylor's Fall Speed Store. And so I think we'll go with this one. I can tell you that usually my pieces are pretty consistent from one side to the other. It's not going to be the case this time because, well, I'm using up odds and end beads. My fingernails are getting too long. I'm going to have to cut them soon. We'll use this white one now. As I said, we're just going to do whatever on this. We're not going to have any consistent, this is going to be this, and this is going to be this. It's going to just be whatever I decide to use. Well, this one's sort of a cool bead, but I want bright colorful, I think, on this piece. So we'll use this bead. Now I could use some of the bigger beads if I wanted to. There's nothing stopping me other than myself. So we want at least 3 or 4 more beads on here, I think. No, that's too close to this one. Could use this one. It's a nice big bead. Or maybe this guy. Or we could use both, but if I were to use both, I wouldn't want them both up here at the top. I'd want something down here towards the bottom because, well, you know, size-wise, we don't want things way out of whacker. So let's move this bead up towards the top, and we'll put this big one down here. And since it's the same color, it's not like we're messing colors-wise up. Not that it matters, like I say, since I'm just using up beads that most of them do not have a match or anything like that. Though some of them do have matches. But sure I want either one of those there. I actually would like either some purple or some red, but I don't think I have either of those colors. I wonder, maybe a little brown one, like a smaller brown one might be nice up there, I think. Let's see what we got here. Maybe this one. This one with the white stripe. That's darker than I want. I think we will go with that one. We do have some pink in here. Maybe we'll use one of those guys. Okay, that's a pretty nice bead strand. Let's see how long that ends up being. A little longer than I was anticipating, but I think it'll work. Now, I am just going to put one of the gold here because we're going to now crimp this up here, and these, as you can see, she's sinking in over down here. I'm not going to pull it apart to put something there now, but since it is sinking, we are going to put a spacer up here. Now we're going to get another crimp out. And as I said, this time I am, which is uncommon for me, going to use a wire guardian. Otherwise, I would want to, instead of crimping onto the wire, the brass piece itself, I would jump ring it, which I still could do if I chose to. Now, this needs to go over the bar here, like so, and get pulled up. Well, I should have put it through the crimp before I pulled it up, but let's still do that. One thing about wire guardians, unlike some things, they do not, you can pull back on them and they'll come back out, which is a lot easier than if it's in the crimp tube. Do we have enough wire to go all the way through, I wonder? Not sure how much more wire we need to go through to get the wire to come through the blue bead. It's obviously quite a ways through it already. Okay, there it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up, pull this down. Come on, baby. Will it go all the way through? Oh yeah. So now we're going to push her through like so. Come on. There it is. I'm going to grab the end here with my pliers, since there's not much there, and pull the rest of the way through. So, okay, now what we need to do, of course, is crimp our little guy right here. Let's get our crimp pliers in here and right in there between those two, and squish and turn and squish. And there she is, our first one. We just have to trim our extra wire right here. And there's our first bead strand. So now we'll just start a second one using one of our Pegasuses here. Pegasuses. And we'll want it to be about so long so that it hangs just above our crystal. So we'll get our peridot wire out again. Like we say, we want it to hang just above the crystal, so we need about so much so that we have some to work with. And cut that off. And in all actuality, if you wanted to, you could cut your second one right now too, because you're going to make it approximately the same length. Now, because this Pegasus is silver, I'm going to use some silver crimps down here. Oops, I don't need two right now, just one. We're going to crimp this little guy onto this wire. Okay. Now we will crimp this guy. So we're all crimped onto here. Now he's going to fly this direction like so. So we got more wire than we needed. He's going to go onto this hole right here, so he's not smacking too close to our beads here. So now we just got to start feeding beads. Now I am going to put a spacer on here because, well, you could see that one is trying to fall into, the crimp is trying to fall into the bead over there. This will keep it from doing so. And since this green bead's already out, let's start with it. And as you may recall, I said we're going to switch to silver, gold, silver for this next set, or for the set with the Pegasus. So turning out pretty nice so far. Let's see what is bead do I want to put on next. Do we want a big one? No, not here, because it's too close to this one here. Could put that one on. We'll see. No, I don't want that. Dropping. Come on. Alrighty, I think like that. So put this guy on, and then our spacers. And I think that's just about right. So now we have to put on our crimp tube and our wire guardian to put it onto here. So our crimp tube. And our wire guardian. Come on, you go all the way through here. And we'll go up through here. Come on, wire guardian, no twisting up here. There we go. Now it needs to go through the crimp tube again and then through a couple of the beads. Come on, you. Well, that's a teeny touch longer than I wanted it because I didn't want it to hit that at all. Well, actually it's not. That's good. So now that we've got this all in, let's get her crimped. And we'll trim the extra wire off and start on our third strand here. Okay, there's strand 1 and strand 2. It's going to be pretty pretty. Now we will just get some more wire out. Come on. Right here. Now you'll notice I'm just guesstimating on how much wire I want. It's not, I didn't measure it out at all. I'm just sort of deciding on what length I want it, and then I'm just cutting it to about that length. And so we'll need another crimp tube out. And we will crimp our other Pegasus onto here. Come on, little Pegasus, get out of the way. Now we're going to put that spacer bead down on the bottom like we did on the other. And just start choosing our beads again. I think we'll start with this cobalt teardrop, but I'm going to go down opposite to normal with it. So it's like so. Then we'll do our silver gold silver pattern over here. And I think I'm going to get one of these guys out here. No, that's awful close to the where it is over here. We'll get one out, but we're not going to use it yet. Now we're already using cobalt down here at the bottom, aren't we? We don't want to do that then. Maybe a small brown one. That's a rather fun bead. We'll use that one. It's going to make it a little bit bigger than the other side, and I really don't want it to be bigger. So this comes out. Where was this at? It can be over here. Well, actually, I think this little green one might be the ticket here. Because we just need just something small. So it's going to probably be still a teeny bit bigger, but not that big. So unless we want to take out this big bead, that we'll find. So we'll put in a silver spacer here. We'll get a silver jump ring here, or not jump ring, but crimp tube. A wire guardian. I'm done with these beads, so I think I'm going to get them out of my way. Okay, so we'll get the wire guardian on this one now. Come on, baby. Now, one thing I do want is I want my Pegasuses to go Pegasus sounds funny, doesn't it? To go opposite direction, so I'm going to hold this up and see how it's going. Looks like it's sort of heading towards the crystal, so we'll head this one the same way or the other way. So we want it to head this way. So now we'll put this through this section here, up and through. Come on, go through. There we go. Now we want to get this through the crimp. Come on, crimp, come back here. And then through the first few beads. Come on, go through the spacer. That should be good, so we'll just pull her up. Now, did you notice how I used the wire guardian to pull up our bead strand? Makes it much simpler if you've got something there that's holding it to the top. So now we'll crimp this. And cut our extra wire off. And now we're just about done, but not quite. But our bead strands aren't those pretty? And then our crystal with our up here. I'm going to get these pieces put away so they are not going to get knocked over. Now what we need to do is I need to find a ring for the top up here for a hanging ring, and then we need to cut some lengths of chain to hook up here. We're going to use some jump rings, hook some chain here, just a little bit so it goes up maybe a couple inches on either side, and it's going to sit on a ring, and then that ring will be our hanging ring. So let's, okay, I've got some chain here. It's pretty simple. And then I've got a gold split ring. That's what I'm going to use for our hanging piece. So we just want to decide how much chain we want going up on our hanger here. I don't think more than an inch or two. Maybe about that much, and then it'll hang on to this ring. So let's cut this in half right here. And put the chain aside. And then we'll simply decide, cut this piece in half. go. It's cut in half. So we'll get some jump rings, and one side will go on one and the other side will go on the other. So we just, like I say, need a couple of jump rings. We'll get some medium size. We'll need 4 since we're going to hook 2 to the bottom down there and 2 up here to our split ring. What are you doing here, baby? Okay, there's one chain on. Now this looks like it's just the right size of jump ring. If we had used anything smaller, it wouldn't have laid at the top up there. So okay, our two chains are on. Now we just need to put our jump rings onto the top of the chain and hook it up onto our ring. So I put that little tray over here and I keep bumping it with my arm. 1. And over the split ring, and pliers. Close this one up. Now we get the other one. Open it. Over the chain. And over the split ring. Now you've noticed I've gone to where the split is at. It makes it easier because it's not as fat there to get our jump ring around and get it tightened up. There we go. She's all done. And it's a little long to show you how big what it looks like, isn't it? Oh, I don't want that crystal banging against the tripod leg. Let's see if I can get it a little bit so you can see it better. Now there's relatively, see how go like there. So there we go. There's our sun catcher. Well, there it is, all finished. Pretty colorful. Sun catcher. Isn't that pretty? I think it turned out really gorgeous, and I bet that prism will throw some beautiful rainbows. So there we go. there is our sun catcher. Now, these are, like I said, I found this piece of brass when I was digging around looking for some things to make hair barrettes in my brass drawer where I keep all my brass pieces, and I'm like, boy, that's a big piece, but what can I do? I can't put that on a barrette. I mean, it's way too big. Well, I could, but it would be big. So I decided, well, I'm going to paint it, and then I'll decide what to do with it. I was thinking of making a wind chime from it, and I do have some pipes, but they're all big silver pipes, so I decided, no, that might be a bit much. So, like I said, I painted the brass piece, and I decided to use all of my odds and ends India glass beads to put it together with. And then, of course, we had to have a crystal, so this big prism crystal works just wonderfully. So, and I wanted something heavy as far as charms are concerned, so I went for these big Pegasuses that I have. Isn't that pretty? Hope you like that. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and these are odds and things from my stash. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.